piece of me that says, fuck, we're celebrating 1 year sober. You know what I mean? Like, you're 40, dog. But then there's another piece of me that looks at that person and I could see them smile and glow. I could feel the authenticity of, we're grateful that you're 1 year sober. And imagine how that feels.
Mm. As you're going through life and on your journey, sometimes you feel like, nah, I can't do this because of I wasted this time, or should have been doing this at this age. But it really doesn't matter, what age, and there's no better time to do it than the divine timing that you're supposed to be.
I learned early on in my time at Homeboy is to have a box of tissues at my desk. Not because I make people cry, but people feel Homeboy. Like, oftentimes before I meet with interviewees, we have them do a tour and they learn about it. And that's what sort of moves people. They become more vulnerable. And it is a key part of being a good leader at Homeboy is to show vulnerability.
I found throughout my healing journey, I didn't want to leave my homeboys back. I feel like I'm leaving them, all right? And I'm going to take off from here. But we've been through some traumatic shit together. So, and then to your point, if I feel at Homeboy and I left my homies, nothing.
So the subject for today, I want to talk about our morning meeting. I think it's one of the things that sets Homeboy apart from, I've been in many organizations in my time, particularly in the for-profit world. For-profit companies think a lot about their culture, how to solidify the culture, how to ensure that it goes on from year to year, generation to generation. And when I showed up at Homeboy Industries and experienced morning meeting for the first time, I said, that's it. That's part of our secret sauce. That happens every day at 8:50. And as you guys are leaders of Homeboy, both of you run morning meeting. So you have that mic in your hand and you sort of lead that effort. So let's start up. So Dre, tell me about morning meeting, the components of it, and Hector, you can weigh in as well.
Sure.
Yeah, morning meeting, the way I see it is it's a time for us to all get grounded. And get grounded is, just humans. Get grounded is in transformation, and also on the other side of it, doing the work that we do and serving the community. And it's a time for us to, shed light on happiness, joy, as well as sadness. So it's really special, and, it's not easy to do. You're leading the community, but also have to share some bad news sometimes.
Right.
Right.
I love celebrating people. We get to celebrate people. We get to see people. I wonder what the guests say when they're with us, like, so-and-so got a new license. Yeah. And everyone claps. And, so-and-so just graduated, or not even graduated, just passed their social studies class. And yay, and, a year sober. So all these little things, And you're running it, and there's a piece of me that, like, I'm used to capping on people. We're used to, like, really downing each other as we grow up in projects and stuff. So there's a piece of me that says, like, fuck, we're celebrating 1 year sober. You know what I mean? Like, you're 40, dog. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then there's another piece of me that looks at that person, and I could see them kind of smile and glow with like
they're being seen.
Pride, and seen and being seen. And they're not just being seen by one or two people. There's a whole community looking at you. And I could feel the authenticity of, we're grateful that you're 1 year sober. And imagine how that feels, and, even the birthdays, I remember one of our trainees, like, we did a birthday. We got
every day we sing happy birthday
every day
to whose ever birthday is that.
And there's many people. Right. So when we first started Homeboy, our morning meeting and stuff, and we'd have a cake or whatever. And one girl, a little bit, Erin, she was, no one's ever given me a cake for my birthday, and it's like, oh shoot, like I'm so glad that we exist.
Yeah.
And to end our happy birthday to you, as however it ends. And it's like, and everybody in the community. And we're glad you were born.
Right.
And we're glad you were born. Imagine that somebody would say that to you.
Yeah.
Or a community would say that to you. And we're glad you were born, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take that in, it's just like, how could you not fall in love with this place?
Yeah. You're talking about the birthday celebrations. Here I am, an old man now, live a long life, that type of thing. I love being here on my birthday.
Yeah.
It just feels great to people sing happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
Which is a funny thing. Not that I'm begging for attention.
Right.
Just kind of, I don't know. It still feels good. Have someone say, we're glad you were born. Did exactly what you just said.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a kid in all of us that still lives in us. And, to sing happy birthday to you, it's just like, only kids get that. You know what I mean? And we still see you as worthy of to be sung to.
And the fun part is people are smiling at you. They're not just singing because they're been told to sing. They're actually enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dre, so you started doing morning meeting for the first time like a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you remember what I told you about your first birthday?
Yeah.
Singing.
You did. Yep.
So on the side, you have a gig as what? You're
an artist, recording artist, and audio engineer. Yeah.
So I was expecting you to sing like a perfect happy birthday.
Nah, see, rapping is different than singing.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Is that what it is,
right? All right. Well, yeah.
So I lowered the mic a little bit so you don't hear my voice as much, and then the community can take over.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, it's cool.
Let's take the audience through, listeners through the sequence. What happens first, second, third? So take it through.
Good morning, everybody. And then everybody says, good morning. Today is, Monday, January 25th. And we're going to start with our land statement. And then somebody will come and give a land statement that's give homage to the caretakers of the land, which would be the Tongva people in the city or the tribe of Yangar, which is more, I guess, in this specific spot where we're at. So we give homage to that. Then we go with our mission statement, and Dre has a mission statement. Go ahead, Dre.
On the spot.
No, I'm messing with you. But yeah, so we'll say our mission statement, and then we go from there. We start talking about, okay, education, come on up. And then somebody from education will come up and talk about, a class. Today's class, a special class is going to be meditation. We're going to be in our class and we're going to meditate about this and this and that. And just give a little highlight of what's going on. And then what's next? Let me see.
We highlight
this social enterprise business.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Social enterprises. Yeah. Bakery, come on up. Hey, today's soup of the day is so-and-so. This soup, and it's made with love and then everybody would come in. A lot of razzle-dazzle. Great. Bakery, come on up. Bakery. Today we're going to introduce our blueberry cheesecake. And it's, we got to remember, you guys, our, products with a purpose, and so then merchandise and then everyone yells out, in the building. And then today is going to be this shirt with this hat and it looks good. And if you don't find something here, you always find it at homeboyshop.com.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so then there's that. And then there's
the highlighting of our therapist of the day, case manager of the day, employment counselor of the day.
And we do that because we have not just trainees, but community clients coming in needing help.
Mm-hmm. So in crisis.
In crisis. So we're trying to say,
this is who you go to.
Fahim is the therapist of the day.
Right. So they should
the case manager of the day.
Right. So they should be on point. I mean, they know, hey, you guys, you guys are the therapist, case manager, and employment counselor of the day. And then we have, ladies and gentlemen, Todd of the day. And then Todd will give his little spiel on some little wise saying. I think he just pulls it off the internet.
Yeah.
And we'll let him know if he did good or not.
Right.
You hit it out of the park. Oh, we got someone on first base.
You struck out.
Or you struck out, fool. Get back in there. All right. And then we go into announcements. That's where we...
From the Flizzo.
Yeah. So then we we do the announcements. Everyone just pops up and keep so-and-so in prayer. And, let's give it up for so-and-so for getting their license and everything else we talked about.
License, getting an apartment, getting their kids back. Getting off parole.
Mm-hmm. Upcoming events happening at Homeboy.
Right. And, to me, when you do all that, it's just like, anyways, it's all community. It's all beautiful, And then we go into a thought for the day. And so we pick sometimes trainees, sometimes senior staff. We'll just go in and give one of their thought for the days. And then we'll end it. And sometimes it's serious, sometimes it's funny, and it's always good to hear somebody's opinion and,
Yeah, and what's on their mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thought of the day, it's supposed to be it doesn't have to be, but oftentimes it's uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
What have you learned? What have you learned about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's trying to teach the population what a Homeboy is about.
Yeah.
But it's as you said, it's sometimes staff, sometimes trainees, which are our clients, and we rotate,
right,
across the month, and so you get a lot of different voices. You got a lot of different kind of perspectives. And when I first showed up at Homeboy, like I said, I thought the morning meeting was sort of so on point about our culture, what we're about, and the celebrating in community. And it's really, to me, the thought of the days are beautiful and they're good to listen to. And so we all feel this way. And so a few years back, we started posting our thoughts of the day on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And so there's plenty up there. And so what I've done for what I want to talk through, and for this episode, I picked out 2 recent thought of the days.
Okay.
That are pretty representative of what we hear often. But there's a lot of sort of good messaging in that I want to kind of, I want to play them a little bit, and then we'll talk about each one.
Well, just before we do that, I'm thinking we do the thought for the day, and then at the end of the thought for the day, then we close our morning meeting with a prayer. And whether it be a Christian prayer or a Muslim prayer or Red Road prayer, and some people just give some kind of, positive affirmation to close, the morning meeting. Mm-hmm. And then we all go about our day.
That's right.
From getting all trainees, all staff and guests, all in the lobby, which is not a huge lobby. So we're all packed in there. And then, all right. And then have a good day, you guys. And then everyone just starts to go where they need to go.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. All right. Let's look at the first thought of the day.
Go for it. All right.
Exercise too. Okay. My condolences, Isaac. My thought of the day in the morning, I was just thinking about my first time that I got this job. I got my pair of shirts and I had taken a picture, and I think it was like 2019. And in the beginning, I'm still like kind of fresh out. I wasn't really taking the program serious. I would still go around and say like, kick it with the homies and say after work or whatever, still kick it with the homies. And I felt like my whole life was at a pause. So now where I'm at today, I'm really grateful, like I took my life serious. I took the program serious. I got to see things done that I accomplished, and I'm grateful for that. And I told myself, I wish I could have done this a lot sooner. So for all the homies that are here, I hope you guys take the program serious and get things that you guys need to get done. And, it's better late than never. And, blessings to everybody. Thank you.
All right, that was Ricky.
Pretty Ricky.
Yep. I'm glad you said. I wasn't sure if I should say that. But Ricky,
he does his eyebrows.
He's been he's a navigator now for a couple years, and that thought of the day was titled "Better Late Than Never." So Dre, what's the messaging you that we got out of that video?
Well, I would say it's never too late to transform. It's never too late to be loved or to love. It's really never too late to start putting yourself first. I would say those are like the main three things that I took from that. And it's true, you know, as you're going through life and on your journey, sometimes you feel like, nah, I can't do this because of, you know, I wasted this time or should have been doing this at this age. But it really doesn't matter, you know, what age. And there's no better time to do it than the divine timing that you're supposed to be.
That's right.
You know, where you
and as he was explaining that, he talked about when he first came into the program, he didn't take it as seriously as he should have. And what he was trying to tell the other folks in the audience who are new to the program is, you know, pay more attention, you know, do the programming. You know, he talked about, he got in and got his 2 shirts. What's that about, Hector?
Well, I mean, to come into Homeboy is, you know, first off, it takes a little bit to get into Homeboy. Back in the days, you used instantly, you know, if you come in, Father Greg would just hire right off the street and say, hey, you start on Monday or you start tomorrow. But now, you know, we've grown so big and we have so many people that want to be a part of the program. It takes a little while. And we always encourage the people that we serve to say, even though you're not in the program yet, you're not on payroll, is to come around. Come around, man. If you're serious about this, come and do a class without getting paid. And then finally, you know, if you do it a few times and you say, man, I want to be a part of this community. I want to be, you know, if you have the ganas to come over here at least 2 or 3 times a week and not get paid, and you're seeing everybody and you see this joy that, you know, that people are carrying. And of course, I'm not of course, but I would say, you know, you see everyone with their Homeboy shirt. And that's just a symbol, I would think, from our gang, you know, backgrounds or in the back of our heads is we're a part of this. And to get your shirts is now officially, you're now a part of this. So that's what I think that people are thinking. And, you know, and the Homeboy logo is badass. So of course, everybody wants to wear it.
No, for sure. And then you feel good about being accepted. Oh, it's not like that, but you feel good about being part of the community team. But as he said, I mean, we hear this a lot, but he was still kicking it with his homies.
Yeah. Right.
And so what's that dynamic like, that struggle of being better Homeboy, but then still running with the gang?
Yeah, that's just, you know, that's a hard one, man. You know, you grow up, you ask Dre, like, what is it like, you know, like a little bit older now. It's better late than never. Well, first off is you made a decision to change your life. Now, usually that decision comes out of adolescence. So you're 25 or older, and then you say like, then you start to reflect on your own life. You're like, what am I doing here? Where does my future look like? Yeah, death is always around the corner. And yeah, of course, incarceration is. And you might even think, but I'm good at this and I'm somebody in this street world. But I know, because the Spirit is calling, this is my thoughts, that there's got to be a change, man. I don't want to be like my parents who failed me and I'm going to fail my kids. Yep. There's got to be another change. I don't want to be inside of a cell no more or stuck on drugs and that hamster wheel that it's getting me nowhere. So, fuck it. I'm going to do Homeboy Industries. I'm going to change my life. And I'm 31 years old. Like, no, you know what I mean? Then you reflect on yourself, like, what do I have at 31? I don't even have a GED. I never even stepped foot in high school. So there's a little embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing. Like, I'm going to go back down to nothing, to nobody, if I'm going to step away. And then on the other side, the question that you asked me about, and your homeboys, well, your homeboys they're always going to be kind of your safety net. That's your safety net. And now what we're saying is, you know, leave your gang. It's not gonna help you. But how can I tell you to leave a gang? That's kind of, you know, your comfort, your nest, the way you know, even though you have all the craziness inside that nest. And I'm not even talking about other gangs. Your gang alone has its own mess, but that's what you know.
Yeah.
It's just like a parent that's on drugs. You know what I mean? Like, here, get away from here. We're going to get you. We're going to put you in foster home. Like, hell no. I'll deal with the drugs. I'll deal with the chaos. Don't you put me in that home.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So now you're coming into Homeboy Industries, and it's just like, ooh, what if I fail at Homeboys? And I denounce and we don't ask people to do this, but I denounce my gang. What then? You got to remember, we're at the bottom of the social totem pole.
Yep.
If we don't have this, what do we have?
Yeah.
You know, that's gangs.
I think it's another layer to it as well because, like I found throughout my healing journey, I didn't want to leave my homeboys back. You know, I feel like I'm leaving them, right? And I'm going to take off from here. But we've been through some traumatic shit together. So, and then to your point, if I fell at Homeboy and I left my homies, I have nothing now.
And we have a phrase, probably Greg has a phrase that we help gang members, not gangs, right? We work with gang members and don't work with gangs, right? And so we're trying to get the person away from the gang. So Dre, what do you say to because you got a lot of the younger guys come up to you. What do you say to them about, hey, when we try to tell them, don't go hang with your homies?
Yeah.
How do you say it to them? How do you get them to sort of see that?
Well, I kind of use the approach where, like, you're an adult. You know right from wrong. You know what can get you into trouble, right? So I think there's a way that you can still be with your homies, but not engage in any illegal activity. And there's ways to still, maintain that friendship and just the understanding of where your homies are at. It's just you may be at a different timing. So my approach is always just do what's right in your heart. Like, you feel it. We all know, right? Or just like G says, we're all inherently good. So keeping that in mind, you know where you should and where you shouldn't be.
So the other part of Ricky's story, it was implication in there that he sort of what came to us. So talk about taking people back in and we give people second chances and third chances. But
Absolutely.
So people leave us, but why did they come back?
Yeah, man. I feel like we have to count on that. That's part of the program. You're coming into a community that sees you and that's like embracing you. And you're this, you've layered yourself with so much like stiffness and concrete layers over your heart and love. And you guys are hugging and races and
right.
And if, like, what am I doing here, man? Get me out of here. But I know there's a piece that you wanted to have in here. So then you go back. You go back to your community or, gangs and drugs. And then you start to compare. Like, what do I see in this? In my barrio, with my homeboys? Because I think that there's a spiritual battle that's going on. And it's good. I mean, well, it just is. I shouldn't say good or bad. It just is. And then you are the spectator of, okay, homeboys has this. My homeboys have that. Backstabbing and all kind of crazy shit in here. Homeboys, we got, the underlying layer of love. And people kind of want me to do good. I want to kind of do good.
Yeah.
I messed up.
Yeah.
I need to get back over there. And they always say that. Hey, dog, I messed up. Think you guys can give me another chance? Yeah. And we say, absolutely, brother. Welcome back.
Yeah, no, and that's right. And we go out of our way. We don't do shame at home, right? We go out of our way to not have people feel shame about saying, sorry, I messed up. We
beat each other.
You guys do a good job about when they come in, you hug them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Welcome back.
Right. We beat ourselves up more than anything.
Yeah.
So there's no need to add more to this.
Trey, how many times do we let people come back?
It's endless.
Endless, right?
Fucking endless. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Until they're ready,
Right. We just love them and trust them while they're with us. And,
right.
And when they're gone, we feel for it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we want them to do better for themselves, and they're willing to do for themselves, but we've got to let go. But love them.
And it's scary, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot of good people, that come and they choose to be out there and You're the I always say you're the master of you, bro. And I hope you make it back because there's no guarantees. Yeah. And we've had a lot of brothers and sisters who never came back, and they're never going to be back.
Give it up for Deborah. Where you at, Deborah? Keep the cheers going. Yeah. Oh, it's Wednesday. All right, I woke up today with this on my mind for some reason, and my life is a struggle right now. I'm going through a lot of different changes, so I just happened to sit down and write this morning. So freedom is something we all look for in life, and yet we still don't have it. I've looked for it and tried to get it, but still feel locked up in my mind and in my heart. But with allowing God into my life at times, I've seen and felt freedom. Being me ain't easy. Yeah, okay. Hold on to that. Being me ain't easy. I need help at times. Well, a lot of times. And I'm proud of the people that come to my aid and in my time of need so that I don't lose my freedom. Life is hard. But with God, I think I got this. Thanks to all who have helped me along the way. You will never know what it has meant to me. F, forever me. R, no regrets. E, love everyone. E, love everyone. D, don't hurt others. O, opportunities. Don't miss them. M, for the madness that comes with the goodness. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, so we all love Deborah. She's been with us a year, and I just heard her talk about it at graduation today. She was incarcerated for 36 years.
Yeah.
And there's a lot I want to talk about in this one, but let me just sort of tee it up. First of all, that video now, people are listening to this podcast. I encourage everybody to watch the video and go to our YouTube channel and watch her video. There's a lot in there, just in the background. You see the joy. Mm-hmm. You see people pulling her along. Yeah. She got her handwritten notes on from she wrote that, and she got her handwritten notes along the way. And so that's kind of captures the Homeboy morning meeting. And for Deborah, I remember chatting with her early on when she first got to Homeboy, and we know this because when lifers get out, it's a very hard transition, and she was stoic, didn't have much expression, didn't want to talk much, and in some ways probably not sure of herself, not sure what to say, not sure how to carry herself, because apparently she was somebody in prison, right?
Yeah,
and she would just have seen her blossom over this past year. Yeah. And now she works for you, Dre, as a navigator. So she mentors other folks to come out of that gang life right away. So we love Deborah, and there's a lot in there. Maybe Hector, you can talk a little bit about this. How hard is it for the transition for people to come from particular lifers to come outside? I mean, she went in when she was in late 80s, right? So that's a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time. I never did a whole lot of time. But when I have a lot of experience with brothers and sisters that are coming out, and the anxiety that they feel from fast movement and being crowded by everybody and the noise, and you're just trying to get their perspective of life, of everything's predicted. Their whole day is predicted. I know what's going to happen at this time. At this time, I do this and that. They're programming, and now they just came into chaos. So, I've learned this as a young kid. Of whenever my uncles or my cousins get out of prison, like, don't hug them yet. Like, what? Even though you do, they stiff up and they stiffen up, and you're like, what's wrong? What did I do wrong? But you gotta let them kick it, marinate, get get back to life again, get back to movement and all that type of stuff. So, she, you could tell that she had a little bit of, that acclimating that needed to happen. I love it when she's reading the thing, and when she's reading her thing, and she's talking about what she's going through, because a lot of us can really understand what she's talking about. And so that, for thought of the day, and you're listening to a brother or sister that's been through what we've been through, you get their perspective, and you how can I say, you don't make it your own, but you reflect off your own spirit, your own things that you've gone through, experiences. And then, well, how did you do it? And then you listen, and then you pick up little gold nuggets that you could, use in your own life. But and another thing too is, you come out of prison, and so many people know Deborah, and then you could imagine, like, now I'm nobody. Oh, that's what people think.
Sure.
Right.
I'm nobody out here. And we point and say, oh, you're gold. You're gold. And all you have to do is accept. All you have to do is open up your heart and accept that you are accepted, that you're worthy of love. And then you see someone like Deborah blow up. On the other side is, there's a brother that had came as a white dude. He was a lifer. And he didn't give us, he came once, then he came one more time. And then I didn't see him no more. He was coming with a friend of mine, Rabbit Ears, who's an old man from Dogtown. And they're old lifers, old school. And then this dude hung himself. And, I said, what happened to the white guy you were with? And he's like, oh, bro, he hung himself. He hung himself. Oh, that's horrible. And he's like, he was so afraid of becoming homeless because he was coming out and, like they were in downtown. Yeah. So when you come out in downtown and you look at all this zombie land, this dude said, I won't do this to myself. It was like a scene from the Shawshank Redemption. And the dude just said, nope, I'll be in control here. Yeah. I'll take my own self out.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah, horrible. So, Dre, in Deborah's thought of the day, she called it freedom.
Yeah.
She has the line in that while she was writing, she still feels like it's locked up in my heart and mind, the feeling that she didn't have freedom yet, even though she was out. And then she goes on talking about how got to learn to let God into her heart.
Yeah.
What do you take by all that?
So, once you're released from incarceration, you still are not free, whether you have to report to your parole officer or, complete this or complete that. There's always something that still has you on this string. Mm-hmm. And then the possibility to go back is still there. And you're always thinking about that. So that's the part, like, with freedom, I think it's so many different layers. It's so complex, right? Because it's the physical form of your body being free. But then there's what Deborah was talking about, the mental form, and trying to be free just to be yourself, right? Being free to be emotional now. Mm-hmm. Now you can show emotions, like Hector was saying. Now you can hug someone, right? But it doesn't feel right. So there's so many different levels to being free. And what does that really mean? And how do I, be more like Hector and, be happier and cool, and also be able to embrace this person, because I only know how to be one way. So that's where I just feel there's so many different layers. And for Deborah, she was really feeling that transition. And I remember having a conversation with her and told her, like, it's not supposed to feel comfortable, right? It's supposed to be uncomfortable right now. And you can still see it right now as she's blooming. Yeah.
I also love the line when she said, life is hard, which we all know. Then she said, but with God, I have it.
Yep.
I can get through it, right? And it speaks to the spirituality that exists now, boy. Now, look, a lot of people ask me about, because Homeboy was founded by a Jesuit priest, they think we're a religious organization. Mm-hmm. I quickly say we're not a religious organization. We don't get any money from the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, right? But as Greg would say, we're soaked in spirituality. And so for each of you, so how would you describe God helping out, being at Homeboy, and how God helps people move forward?
Oh, man. You know, I remember being at the old office and just kind of, you know, how could I say? Homeboys is like a sanctuary. And I remember, I don't know if this just matches what you're saying, but I remember like somebody had ran into Homeboy Industries, and we were right next door to Hollenbach Police Station.
Mm.
And I was thinking, you know, like, oh, I got triggered. You know, somebody came in, the cops, right before they came in, they stopped. And I could see the windows, I could see through everything, and I said, they're gonna raid. And I don't know what made me do this, but I was very new, and I said, they're gonna raid the house. Dump your shit. Flush it. And then I went back to the front, or I went through the back, and this cop said, come over. He pulled a gun on me. He goes, get over here. And I just flipped him off. You know, and I came back inside, and then I went back to the front. And then I just noticed there was like a bubble around Homeboy Industries, and they did not want to penetrate. They couldn't come in, and nothing was stopping them. And I was like, whoa, I've never seen this before. Yeah. And it was just, I know this kind of doesn't match with spirituality, but I felt for whatever reason, I felt protected. And then they waited for their senior leads or their sergeants, whoever was, you know, really in charge. And two people walked in with great respect into Homeboy Industries. And the issue got solved and all. They ended up getting the guy who ran in. But I felt like this, I don't know if this matches for anybody listening, but this is like we're protected. This is a spiritual place, and no shenanigans are going to happen like that. Usually they would just come and rip through this place, especially with the population that it's filled with. But they just didn't. And then I just kind of like said, okay. And then I started kind of just, my eyes were open for that. I wanted to see that. I wanted to hear that. Yeah. And I prayed for that. You know, I got to a point where it just started getting really chaotic in the new building. And I said, you know what? I love God. And I need to pray for peace and peace throughout the walls of this. And there was my prayer. And then there was his prayer over here and her prayer. And people had burning sage and song. I remember we opened up this, we did a ceremony for this building. And that, you know, man, I was like, oh, I love this. It's so spiritual. It's so beyond us. It's like a bigger thing. It's God. That's how I would describe it.
No, it's beautiful. Right?
Yeah, so, the spirituality at Homeboy. So, for me, you know, I remember being picked up in these white vans as a kid, and they would take you to Bible study on Wednesdays or Sunday school on Sundays. And, you know, my mom would send us off, and I'm like, why am I going and you're not? You know? That's because, you know, they party, get high, do their thing. But whatever the case, you know, I get there, I'm with my homies too, and I can't wait to get out of here. But it felt uncomfortable. And it was because everyone, like the adults there, were in practice of praying to God and working on themselves. So for me, I wasn't. So that was the uncomfortableness. But every Sunday, every Wednesday, we would have to go. And as I went, you know, and grew up in life, I veered away from church. Didn't want to be in it, not stepping foot in there, especially knowing the life I'm living. I'm not going to step into church. But all my, you know, my family members, my mom, you need Jesus and you need to go to church. Like that was going to fix me. So as an adult, I'm not going to church. And I'm not going to read that Bible. I'm not doing any of that. And I was very strong on it. And then it was also a lot of, you know, God, why did you do this to me? Like, why did this happen to me? So just questioning it. Huh. Fast forward, get to Homeboy, you know, in the morning meeting, it was a prayer every day. And I'm like, damn, like we're really sitting here praying every day, right?
Every day.
Every day.
Every damn day. So I'm like, okay. And then again, it's just something you can't fight. There's a lot of things that Homeboy you got to submit to. And for me personally, it was the perfect time. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what's in me that's making me feel like this? I'm so reserved to praying or, you know, talking to God. I felt like I always had a strong spirituality in myself and believing in God, but never wanted to talk to him or, you know, pray. So that spirituality at Homeboy is undeniable. And that feeling I felt as a kid where I felt uncomfortable because I wasn't working on myself in that sense. Well, now you're in a place that everyone is working on themselves.
Right.
Everyone is trying to transform. So everyone is digging deep into their own spirit and learning themselves. Like, who am I? Damn, I really do like this. And like I said, for myself, it's been 2 years, I've gained the best relationship with God and really tapped into my own spirituality since I've been at Homeboy. And that's
no, that's perfect. And I say this over and over again. What I've learned at Homeboy is, you know, people transform their life, right? And when they learn to start loving others, they learn to love others when they learn to love themselves. And I've seen this over and over and over again. They learn to love themselves when they learn God loves them no matter what. And that is the spirituality of Homeboy, that understand that God loves each of us no matter what. And that's what makes the transformation happen. In Deborah's video, where she talks about struggling, not sure, but she knows God's with her along the way through those hard times. And that she's going to make it to the other side.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of having Thought of the Day, where people give us those messages each day to remind us in their own words, in their own way,
right,
of how that works.
It's beautiful.
Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you being with me on this one, where we talk about our morning meeting and a couple of our thoughts of the day. And I look forward to our next conversation.
Same here, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks.